everyone, welcome to the show. Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. My name is Amanda. I am a teacher-turned-homeschool mom. This is Raising A to Z. It is a YouTube channel all about homeschooling. And today I am sharing my plans for what we're gonna do in the month of December. The reason I'm sharing them is because people often ask us what we're doing in December and what our plans are. And people are often shocked to find out that we don't homeschool in December. I know. It's a little mind-boggling. You would assume that as a teacher turned homeschool mom and someone who educates their kids at home on a regular basis, that I would definitely homeschool my kids in December. Like, why wouldn't I? We don't. We have made this decision. It's been a conscious decision since we pretty much began homeschooling that we are not going to homeschool in December. There's a couple reasons, and I'm going to talk about that. But before I do that, why don't you guys take a quick second and go down here and subscribe and then click the bell. That way you will get notifications every time we put out a video on Monday morning. So why don't we homeschool in December? The main reason why we don't homeschool in December is we just don't have the time. Between all of the festive things that are going on, the concerts and pageants, the carol sings, the parties, the going to see Santa, the activities that we do with our kids, it's just a lot going on for those first 25 days of the month. It's just jam-packed. And we're finding, even before our kids started school, that like December was really a busy month for us. Without adding any school books or workbooks in, we realized how busy December was, and we were often very tired in December. And so we decided as a couple that we were not going to require our kids to do workbooks or to do homeschooling during the month of December. But does that mean that December is a wash for us? No, it doesn't. Actually, December ends up being a really great educational month for us for a variety of reasons. And it's all the things that we do in December and the conscious decisions that we make about celebrating December and Christmas for us that actually makes it a really great month of education and learning, even without our workbooks. So I'm going to share a few of the things that we do every December that really helps December be educational and fun and festive, but also gives us an opportunity to kind of take a break for the workbooks. The first thing we do is we do an activity advent calendar. So basically from December 1st until December 24th, we have one activity that we do every day with our kids. Sometimes that activity is very big, like maybe we will be going shopping for presents for each other, or we're going to go see Santa at the mall, or we have a concert to go to. Those are big things that I would include in our activity calendar. Sometimes it's little things. Sometimes it's like, today we're gonna decorate the Christmas tree, or today we're gonna draw a picture of snowmen, or we're gonna play outside, or we're gonna have hot cocoa and sing Christmas carols inside. Like, we include all different kinds of activities in our month. Some of them are more restful days, some of them are busier days, but basically by the end of the 24 days, we've done a whole bunch of really cool things. And a lot of those things are very educational. For example, when our kids write letters to Santa, that's a writing activity. We do letter form, how to write a letter. We talk about writing, how to write your letter properly. What kind of information are you going to include? We talk about spelling and punctuation. We make sure that the letters are signed. We mail them. Like, that's all very important to the letter writing process. That's a literacy lesson. They don't really know it, but it is. It's a great lesson. It's fantastic and they love it. When we do baking with our kids, I talk about baking all the time because it's so educational. It's all about math and science and fractions and chemical reactions, and they absolutely love it. And then especially when we start decorating them for around the holidays, that's all about creativity, right? It's about color theory when we're mixing colors into our frosting. It's about, creativity, and that's just in a baking activity. Also, Christmas has so many times where you can include music and arts and crafts. So whether you're doing, you can look at different carols and look at the history of a carol if you wanted to. There's just so many options in those 24 days of things that we can do that are educational, but it just doesn't feel educational and it just feels like festive fun. And that's kind of what we focus on for those first 24 days of December. If you are interested in doing activity advent calendar, I got your back. Down below, I'll put a link for printable activity advent calendars. It's got 40 different activities you can do. You can print that off, cut them out, and put them in either little bags or envelopes. However you want to set it up, you can set it up that way. So if you're looking to do your own activity calendar, definitely check the link below. It's free and it's super easy. Another thing we like to do during the holidays is I do 24 books under the Christmas tree. This year, I think because we have a puppy, we probably won't leave them under the Christmas tree. We'll probably put them in our homeschool room on our bookshelves. But we do. I wrap up 24 books and I put them on the bookshelf. Now, I have seen people who wrap up 24 new books. That's a lot of books to buy because books are expensive. I buy my kids a couple books every year for Christmas. I can't afford to buy 24 books. I would love to, but it's a lot of money. So what I actually do is over the years, I've kind of amassed a collection of Christmas books. I think I have a little bit over 24 or 25 now. I think I'm like 26. And so I will go through and pick out our top favorite books and I will wrap them up. And basically after Christmas, January 1st, whatever, I take them and I put them away for the rest of the year. So they're special books. They come out only for the month of December and we love them. I do try to pick out 1 or 2 new books. I have my eye on a couple of books right now that I'm hoping to pick up for this year, but it is just a really fun activity. So basically the kids go, they pick whatever book they want off the shelf that day, and that becomes the book that we read during our reading time in the morning. Super easy, but it's just really fun. So, and sometimes we include things that are religious. Sometimes we include things that are like a carol book where it's talking about the carols and the lyrics in the carols. Sometimes we include different stories. It's just a really fun thing. And my kids absolutely love it. This year in particular, I'm looking for some great BIPOC books because I realize all my books in my series are quite white. And so I am on the search for a few more BIPOC books. I do have one, but I'd like to add another one, at least one more to this collection this year. But yeah, that's what I do. I wrap up a couple books, I put them on the shelf or under the Christmas tree, and every day we pick one. It's reading, it's literacy, it's understanding the text, it's all learning, right? And now Alexi's getting to the age where she's actually starting to be able to read some of these books as well. And so she will get to start reading these books aloud to us as we're doing our reading time in the morning. That's what we do. That's one of our favorites. And we alternate. Whoever picks the book, it's the other person who gets to draw the activity thing and see what it is for the day. And then they switch the next day. That's how we do it. It just helps keep things running smooth. Something that I am adding this year is actually I was able to find a really great Christmas novel study. Not a novel study, but a novel. So I do have a new book that I'm going to try to read to the kids a little bit at bedtime. It is the worst/best Christmas pageant ever. And so we've read the Halloween version. They have a Halloween book in the same series a couple of years ago and the kids really liked it. And I was able to find the Christmas one at my used bookstore. So we're going to read that and see how that runs. If it works out really well, then maybe next year I'll find another Christmas novel or a Christmas book that's a little bit longer and read that at bedtime. But yeah, so we do the book in the morning and then we do the Christmas novel at night. So yeah, we do a lot of reading in the month of December. Something else we do a lot in the month of December, we watch a lot of Christmas movies. And I think people, they don't give movies the attention that they deserve. If you ask my husband, who is an art teacher at a performing arts high school, he teaches in the music and media department, they talk a lot about movies and how they're created, how they're narrated, how they're voiced, the animation behind it. Like there's so many different things that you can talk about when you're watching movies. And that's before we even get into like the plot and the story and how these different stories are connected and comparing them to the book version if you have the book version of certain stories. And there's so many things you can do with Christmas movies and they really get you into the Christmas festive mood, right? We have obviously some favorites. We love all the Home Alones, Elf, Arthur Christmas is fantastic if you are looking for something kind of newer. We like, Polar Express. And my kids actually really loved the newest animated Grinch. That was actually much better than I anticipated. It was really, really cute. So lots of great Christmas movies out there. And I just think it's a great time, especially since we live in Northern Ontario where it tends to get quite cold and snowy. And sometimes we have kind of snow days where we're home. It's a great thing to do that keeps us in the Christmas spirit, but also gives us kind of a little bit of a downtime and a little bit of time to rest, especially if we've had a couple busy days. Something else we do a lot of baking. Yes, we do a lot of baking. I love baking and my kids love baking and everybody in my family loves cookies. And so we do a lot of baking around the holidays. I think most people do. It's that time of year. We just got to have all those really good cookies. And so I've talked about this. Baking is math. Baking is science. That is exactly what baking is. It is all about fractions and it's about chemical reactions. And it is fantastic because you get to eat it at the end. So I do find that baking can be a lot, especially at the amount of recipes my kids want to make. So they've already got their list. They want gingerbread and they want candy cane cookies and they want these sprinkles, shortbread, sugar cookie things that they found. They want peanut butter balls and they have their list already. So one thing that I actually like to do now in the month of November is I will actually just like make all the dough, especially for things like gingerbread or things that are going to be multi-step. I'll make all the dough now. And then on the day when I actually want to like roll it out and bake it, or we're actually going to make them fresh, I just have to like pull it out, let it defrost for 20 minutes, and then we're ready to go. So that is a tip if you're finding like sitting down and doing baking every single week or every other day is just too much. Take some time now before the holidays really kick in and make 1 or 2 batches and just pop them in your freezer. And then if you have company come over, it's a really quick way to get some fresh cookies onto the table. It's also a great activity for like a co-op, or if you're doing like a group meetup, baking cookies and decorating cookies. Easy, fun, and totally festive and delicious. So I love baking. And I love that we get to do a lot of it at the holidays. Other thing that we like to try to do during the holidays is we try to get outside. And I say we try because I am not, I'm gonna be very honest, I am not a huge fan of winter. I do it, I go outside because I know it's good for me. It's good for the dog, it's good for the kids. It's just not my favorite. I don't like the snow and I don't like being cold, but we do it anyway because it is good for us. And my kids like it. And there's so much you can do outside that's learning that doesn't feel like learning, but it's fun. So the kids can make snow angels and snowmen, which is all creativity, and it's finding the right snow, which is science. You can look for different seasonal changes, what kind of birds are around, what birds have flown south. There's so many things that you talk about just by being outside. And then we also talk about like the kids can burn some energy and get some exercise and get some vitamin D. And there's also certain activities that you can only really do in the winter, right? So you can only go sliding in the winter. You can only go skating in the winter. And so we try to do those. We take them, we do them. I do it for the kids because I don't particularly enjoy the winter, but I am trying to find the silver lining in the winter and be happy because my kids like it. And it's good for you. That's what I keep telling myself. No, I'm just joking. I'm not a huge fan, but I do recognize that when I go outside, I do feel better myself. I feel better. It's better for my mental health. It's great for the kids, physical and mental health. So we do try to get outside for at least 20 minutes a day. Obviously, weather depending. When it's -40, we don't go outside. That would be dangerous. But we do try to like get outside as much as we can and as much as like is fun. And we also make a really good point of dressing for the winter weather. So everybody has ski pants, boots, hats, mitts, and that is very important. If you don't have those things, definitely worth the investment if you're a homeschooler, 100%, even for yourself. Last year, I invested in some new ski pants and it was a game changer for me. So definitely make sure you get outside. And then on top of all that, on top of all of the activities that we do and the books and the baking and getting outside and watching movies, we also have the events that I was talking about. We have concerts to go to. We have different things that we want to do, like going to see Santa, and we take the kids to go Christmas shopping. They each get $10 and they buy each other a gift at the dollar store. They love it. It's great for each other. It's good for them to learn how to budget and spend money. And how to pick a gift for somebody else in mind, which is something I think people really need to teach people. So we have all these different activities. Like I said, we have concerts and carol sings and pageants and the things that we have to go out to do. And then we have parties. Like one of the big things that happen in my family is we do the annual gingerbread house decorating party. So that's something my dad has always loved. It is a tradition that he is very, very passionate about. And so my side of the family gets together and we decorate gingerbread houses together. All the cousins and my brother and his family and everybody gets together and we do gingerbread houses. So we have other events to do too. And the thing that I want to teach my kids, which I think is kind of related to this, is that we have to also remember to rest. And you'll hear me talk about this a lot on this channel, is that a lot of what we're seeing in life is that people have not learned how to rest. They're just constantly on the go. They're constantly trying to do more and be more and go. And there's just not enough time for people to rest physically and mentally and emotionally. And so when we have the days where we have lots of events, that's great. We have a lot of fun with them and they're really great for family connections and traditions and all of that. But then it's also nice to have the days where we can just like I said, sit down on the couch and watch a Christmas movie and kind of have a bit of a down day. And so by not doing workbooks, we kind of get to, it gives me that ability to balance my days and also not be so overwhelmed that we're like, okay, we got to go here and do this and do that and read this and then go here, as well as do, math and science and reading and literacy and our spelling lists and our social studies unit. Like, I get to take that one component out for just 1 month. And like I said, my kids still learn a lot. They still experience a lot. They're still working on all these different kinds of skills all throughout the month. It's just not so hectic for us. We get to kind of chill out a little bit. So if you're finding December to be overwhelming, if you're finding you're getting a little stressed about what you're going to do for the month of December, why don't you take a break? I think, you'll hear me say this so many times, taking a break can be so fantastic. And it doesn't mean that you're not learning. It just means that you're focusing on some other skills for a little while, whether it's life skills, whether it's arts, whether it's traditions. Those are all things that our kids need to learn. And sometimes it's just nice to take a break and enjoy a holiday. So that's what we're doing for December. We are not doing workbooks, but we are still gonna have a lot of activities, a lot of fun, a lot of learning going on. And my kids are already pumped and looking forward to it. Thank you so much for watching. If you guys like this video, why don't you guys make sure to subscribe and click the bell like I said before. And if you're following us on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok, then you'll actually get to follow along with us as we go through the month of December and see what kind of Advent activities we do and the books that we read, because I will be documenting all of that. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.